Joining me on the news from Burkina Faso to discuss this and more is Guillaume Debra, scholar, and Professor Babatunde Ayeleru, DG Nigerian French Language Village. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me on the news. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me.
All
right. Merci. Let's start with Mr. Debra. Let's explore the importance of this day. Why do you think the UN sets this day apart for French language? It's not the only language in the world, is it?
Definitely, it's definitely not the only, not even the most spoken language in the world. But I think for the United Nations, it has a certain importance because the UN system itself was built mainly by the French, based on the French system. And you have the language being used along with English. So I think for them, it's very important. And for the speakers around the world, it might not have the same level of importance because, let's say, in Burkina Faso or in other French-speaking African countries, you have people who have like different kind of views on this, positively or negatively. Yeah.
All right, Professor Ayeleru, an issue that caught our attention is the France-French summit that the French President Emmanuel Macron is spearheading. Are there benefits for Africa in this?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me start by saying that the Francophonie Day is very central to those of us in the business of French teaching and learning. You recognize the fact that it is a forum where all speakers of French, whether you speak French as a first language, mother tongue, or you speak French as official language, or you have it because it's significantly important to you, it is a forum that brings all of us together, whether you are a French speaker by birth, or you are a French speaker by learning the language for any purpose you want to use it for. So to us, it is very central. And I must say that for us in Nigeria, it is even more important to any other country, maybe where you have a monolingual system. If you look at our country, for instance, we are surrounded by Francophone neighbors. If you look at the north, you have Niger, or you have Chad. You have in the west, you have Republic of Benin. In the east, you have Cameroon. One is not even sure whether the Atlantic Ocean that we have down south does not speak French. So for us as Nigerians, we must speak French, and we must also celebrate the culture. But let me now go to the idea of one thing that is important that President Emmanuel Macron is doing, to me, is that even while emphasizing the importance of learning or teaching and learning of French or the French language all over the world with the French culture, is also emphasizing the importance of multilingualism, meaning that French teaching or learning should not.
Okay, I think the network has interrupted Professor Ayeleru. Let's go back to you, Mr. Debra. Let's talk about the people that see themselves as Francophone countries. What would you say the impact of the language has been on these African countries?
I would say I see two main types of impacts. The first one is related to the simple fact of being bilingual or multilingual. Growing up here, I had to learn French. Also, in addition to my mother tongue, which is Bisar, and another language, which is Mori. So I thought like it's really important just for the brain itself, for as a kid growing up and learning these languages. This is the first thing. And I realized this when I went to China, when I had to study Chinese. It was easier for me. And I think, yeah, having this multilingual background was helpful. And the second kind of impact is a mixture of both positive and negative. I would say, I would start from the positive part, is that we are in a system, at least, where we are not alone. Right? You have other French-speaking countries, if you leave Burkina Faso to Cote d'Ivoire, whether for business, political issues, and all this, you share the same language. Even if you go to Europe, you also have you share the same language and all this. But it's not like I've been to Vietnam, for example, where they speak Vietnamese, but very difficult to share this with other people, around or other countries there. So yeah, having this is a kind of advantage. It allows for a kind of a regional integration, even political integration more easily. But on the negative note, I would say that French has been a bit limiting sometimes. The fact that we're a French-speaking country, for example, in Burkina, we're very limited to speak English, for example. We don't speak English like that fluently. And once you leave the West African region, you feel like you are a stranger in the world. So this is a problem. I think it's limiting. As Professor said, the Francophonie Day is celebrating, multi-language, lingual environment and all this. So I would say it's important for French-speaking countries to include other languages as well, in addition to French, English.
Mr. Deborah, I want to say thank you very much. In the interest of time, that's the much we can take on the conversation. Thank you very much. As well as Professor Babatunde Ayeleru, thank you very much for joining us.